bit of a kind of a crazy idea I have. Well, not that crazy, is stainless steel pans don't corrode as easily in many ways, and then but and it can be made more non-stick easily. Oftentimes, they might even be a little cheaper than cast iron pans. But cast iron pans are still used in cooking for a variety of reasons, and that is, first of all, there's a way to make them non-stick, but it's more complicated. They are they can last long if they're very well kept, but you have to very well keep them, so it's more maintenance. But another reason is they're large thermal mass that's still conductive, and what that means is they can conduct heat relatively easily, so heat ups and stuff. But they don't fluctuate in temperature when they're hot; they stay hot very long, which leads to an even kind of cooking, and they don't lose, and they can store a lot of energy, so they don't get any cold spots or particularly hot spots. More even throughout. This is also especially true for price. You could make a very thick stainless steel pan to do this too, but that'll be a lot more expensive. And also, some stainless steels are less thermally conductive. So I've come up with the kind of solution, I think, is to imagine a stainless steel, and that's also why cast iron is more heavy pans, because it's the loss, because they need to be to store up all the heat, which is more important on electric ovens, induction ovens, because they actually work by turning on and off to maintain the temperature, which means during the cold period they're not as hot as when they're off, they're not as hot as when they're on, and that means there's less even heating. A fun answer there. And I think that could be solved though with more better variable electric controls, so there's not the on and off when you see that it becomes redder or less red, to give it more even heating without an actual fancy pan. But this made the stove actually better, which would save weight because you can use a cheaper, less heavy pan. Let's say you want that heavy pan for cooking over fires or whatever reason, which also can have uneven. Well, my solution is take two stainless steel pans and kind of attach them together, but have a pocket in the middle, completely closed off. So kind of imagine a thick stainless steel pan that's hollow in the middle, and fill that middle with fine sand, maybe even glass, but glass can crack a little bit too much in my opinion. It is more thermal conductive though. However, I don't think thermal conductivity is the very important in this case, because actually it will heat up very quickly, and this is an advantage because it only has to first heat up the steel, and the steel can heat up relatively fast because it's conductive. Then the sand will heat up in the middle, which will take longer, but that means the steel will get fast hot, then slowly the whole thing will get hot and keep its heat. Then the sand will store the heat. Now, why would I'm saying sand to store heat, not metal in between its layers, cast iron, because sand is A, a lot cheaper, B, it can hold for the same amount of weight about twice, 2 times to 3 times the amount of heat. I mean, not only is it cheaper by weight, you'll need less sand to hold the same amount of heat. Twice the amount, so even cheaper. Now, this means that the pan can be lighter weight and easier for you to carry and move, which can help a lot of people that are just not as strong, or can help stop preventing spills or accidents. The sand slash glass then could then there are some, so, and then besides it being made of cheaper materials overall than a cast iron of similar volume, there is some problems. Construction will be harder, and if construction is harder, the price might go up. I don't think construction will be that much harder once we start making them in mass production, but there is that construction hurdle, definitely. I mean, you have to figure out how to get the sand in the middle and everything. I think you stamp out, make 2 plates, and you sort of press weld them together with a bunch of sand in the middle. but the sand you might have to be careful not to fuse it to the side. But I think some fused it's okay. So I think it would be good. And there will be also a lot of empty volume potentially if the sand doesn't compact. If you use glass, that'll get rid of it. But glass cracks. Maybe you can pre-crack the glass once by heating it up and cooling it down a bunch of times. So the cracks will have already formed the maximum amount. Then that's it. You could stuff like that, or you could figure out special glass that doesn't crack as much, like maybe borosilicate glass, which is what they make labware out of. It still cracks, but maybe some other formula. But that might drive up the price. It might make the whole plate thinner, which might make it nicer. And it's all these compromises, and different people might end up using different types of plates. Another, another thing is if the surface you can make out of a different material than the bottom, which could lead to different properties, because maybe the surface may have different than the bottom. You can make the surface out of a less material that's not exposed to harsh conditions and doesn't have to be non-stick, so it can be even cheaper than regular cast steel. To save a little money there, maybe make it a little more easy to weld together, like brass. Things like that. Well, I hope you found this interesting. Please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Thank you very much. Goodbye.